Okay. Again, thank you for coming today. This session is designed specifically for the continuing education program area staff, and will introduce you to our CE Adjunct Basics online training. The course is self-paced. It was developed to equip college policies, effective teaching strategies, and the wide array of resources available at CCBC. This training is a foundational tool to help adjunct instructors succeed in the classroom, whether they're brand new or returning for another term. During today's webinar, you'll get a first-hand look at the course content, allowing you to better understand what your adjuncts will be engaging with so they can more effectively support them in the program areas. We also encourage you to consider taking the course yourself, both to deepen your understanding of the adjunct experience and to explore how the training aligns with CCBC's mission to deliver high-quality, student-centered instruction. We're also excited to introduce Marta Sears, our new coordinator for the CE Adjunct Faculty and Instruction, who will be modeling today's webinar. Marta brings 17 years of experience in higher education, is passionate about supporting instructors, enhancing professional development, and fostering a collaborative teaching community. She'll be your guide through today's session, offering insights into the course, answering your questions, and helping you connect the training to the work you do every day in support of adjunct faculty. It would be helpful if you post any comments in the chat or write them down as we go, and we'll leave time at the end for your questions you might have. I would also like to point out this is a generic course, and you may have some areas that you manage in a way that is unique to your program. Before Marta starts our classroom tour, I've asked Jack to give you a brief overview of the origins of this project. So take it away, Jack.
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, just a quick mention about where this course comes from. A year ago, we released the Quick Start, which was kind of a just-in-time training for adjuncts who might not have all of their Brightspace credentials yet and maybe didn't have time to really get into all of the material that we wanted to cover. And so one of the nice benefits about that is that it exists outside of Brightspace. But this course fully builds on that. It expands upon the Quick Start. And so we developed it over the course of many months in collaboration with program area staff, coordinators, directors, assistant deans, so that we knew that we were covering a lot of the topics that are important for you and for your faculty. And so pleased to be able to roll this out now in connection with you and in support of your faculty. So that's where it comes from, and I'll now turn it over to Marta.
Hello, everybody. I will be your guide today, and my name again is Marta. I am the new coordinator for adjunct faculty and instruction. So if we haven't met yet, hello, and I hope we can meet. I'm gonna start sharing my screen and turn off my camera because there are way too many screens for me to track. Can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Excellent. So, okay, so as Tim mentioned, this is a high-level overview with 9 training modules available.
Excuse me, Marta.
So are you showing the, I see your screen, but I don't see the.
We're not seeing the classroom.
Okay, let's see. And let's start sharing again. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see the table of content?
No.
Now I can.
Is it a yes currently?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Okay, we got through the required technical difficulties, so we are good to go. Again, as Tim mentioned, this is a high-level overview with 9 training modules, and each module is self-paced and packed with resources to help faculty navigate their role confidently. We will have time for questions at the end, so if you want to jot them down as we go, and we will discuss it at the very end. Again, a reminder, this is a general overview for all continuing ed faculty. There might be differences among programs, and we are relying on you, the program staff, to introduce those program-specific requirements and processes. Okay, let's dive in. Module 1 and Module 2 are kind of the welcome and institutional overview. And there is Dawn with the welcome message. And kind of why this course. And kind of the meat of the instruction starts here. And as you will see, each module starts with a short video. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, just kind of show you guys. You guys can still see everything, right?
No.
What can you guys see now?
I still see mission and vision and values.
Okay, cool. That is excellent because we are moving through the slides. So this is module 1, kind of what we are doing and why. This is a section that designed to help adjuncts understand the broader context of their work and how their role contributes to the learning community, and give a general context and understanding about CCBC, and specifically for the continuing ed area. Again, as a new employee to CCBC and continuing ed, I found this really helpful. I'm sure you guys know all of this, but coming in, this was helpful to me. And let's see. Did we do this? Okay, I wanted to take a moment and kind of deep dive into who we are, because understanding the student demographics and what CCB represents is key to creating an inclusive and effective learning community. And all the different tabs highlight that our student population is diverse in age, background, and educational goals. And we will kind of touch upon again later in the teaching section, but this is here to introduce new faculty. Okay, we touched on this. Let's see. Oh, this is the fun part. This is compliance and classroom procedure. So this is the section that covers important and sometimes confusing topics, but Module 3 is essential for compliance topics such as FERPA and accessibility, and it's critical for maintaining safe, respectful, and inclusive learning environment. And these are important, but also not that much fun. I'm sure you guys have seen these required trainings. Again, this is a reminder. Hopefully they have seen this before. Instructions on how they can access the training and how they can produce the certificate that they have completed the training. Oh, it's that exciting, huh? Somebody was yawning. But again, another basics kind of Brightspace training, how they can access it, how they can get started. And I wanted to take a moment to take a deeper dive in FERPA. This section is set up as a question and answer, and we are trying to provide the most relevant information in an easy to digest form. There's a lot of information, and we are trying to make it as engaging as possible throughout the course, but again, it's dense and it's a lot to cover. But as you will see, this knowledge check at the end of each section kind of reinforce the content. Accessibility compliance. Again, all the details. We are hoping that faculty, whether new or returning faculty, will use this module and the whole course as a reference and a place where they can return to if they have questions. Okay, this is the practical section that I'm guessing many of you get questions about because it covers things such as course rosters. And again, very hands-on, specific. How do you fill this out? What do you need to include? The hope is that if you have questions related to these areas, that maybe you can refer them to this training module to, hey, why don't you start here and see if that helps? And if they have further questions, you can help them out, but hopefully this will cut down some of your workload as well as helping them figure out how to do things. Again, practical side, grading, the types of grades. I know why it is important. Again, knowledge check at the end. Accessibility. Student conduct, how to report it. The always fun course evaluation forms. And again, this might be an area where your program is different or have your own unique processes. And this is the slide I wanted to, or area where I wanted to draw your attention to because it has 3 different videos embedded. And those 3 videos contain a lot of information. Again, this is classroom emergency procedures. So everything, the videos, I'm sure many of you have seen these. First aid emergencies, emergency procedures. This is the active shooter, what to do, how to sign up for campus alerts. Again, these are 3 videos with a ton of information. And I'm sure you have had to deal with this instructor illness and emergencies, kind of what to do or how to get started. Start canceled class sessions. How to get course materials, where you can get copies. Again, it mentions the Adjunct Faculty Center, where they can get this done. I'm sure your program can help as well. Academic calendar. I think we'll live in these academic calendars, but for somebody coming in new, this could be a learning curve of when and what happens on campus, and how to get paid, how to get started as an employee. Okay. I can just feel the excitement from all of you guys. This is a great way to spend a Thursday afternoon. Campus resources and logistics. the always important where to park and how to park. Again, this section I think is pretty self-explanatory. How to get to campus, how to get to your classroom, how you can open your classroom and get into the classroom. Again, we have mentioned this before, but again, this reinforces campus alert messaging, how they can sign up, accessing username, changing passwords. I don't know if you guys ever get questions or need to support the adjuncts through this. More information technology. All the important areas, SharePoint, Simon, Office 360, Brightspace. Your ID card, how to get it. Again, this is just a very practical side. And module 6 is, I think this is the area where many adjuncts, especially new adjuncts, might need some help with. That's they find the teaching component of instruction challenging, and module 6 is all about teaching. We explore how adults learn, what makes a great instructor, how to organize and deliver content, and Adjunct will also learn how to create an engaging classroom, understand their student needs, and measure learning outcomes. And whether they are new to teaching or seasoned educators, the module offers practical strategies that they can apply right away. And I think that's the reoccurring theme, that we were trying to create a tool that creates tangible and right away tools that they can use. So it's not theoretical. This is how you get started. These are the skills you need. Let's get going as an adjunct. Again, there's more detailed instructions, verb to use. Learning delivery method, content presentation, again, practical advice. I know many of you either know this already or don't necessarily need it, but again, it is here for the adjuncts to use. And at the beginning, we talked about the CCBC student demographics. Here is more detailed instruction and information of how they can incorporate that into the actual teaching. And engaging classrooms. We all want to have good instructors and students not falling asleep during instructions. Type of assessments, course evaluation. Again, some of it, this is a summary and reinforcement of what was discussed earlier in this module. For best teaching techniques and strategies. And this is diving in. This is the first class. And again, I'm hoping this will be helpful for many of you who might get questions from adjuncts about to start their first class, what they need to do to be able to get started, get paid, and be on time and ready for the first class. Again, practical information of what to include, how to prepare, what to bring. Again, if you cannot get into the classroom, how to take attendance, your goals for the class. And, this might be a repeat for some adjuncts, but this might be a necessary first introduction for some. Okay, engagement and professional development. Again, there's a short intro video at the beginning, and this section is about how we are supporting or can support the adjuncting instructors. Library and learning resources. Again, this is repeat, but it's worth repeating. The Center for Adjunct Faculty Engagements, what they can use and find there. All the professional development opportunities. Again, how they can access information about CCBC, upcoming events, CCBC posts, daily posts, newsletters. And this is the final conclusion. You have done this, and here are the things you need to complete to earn a certificate and also the $75 stipend. And to do that, to earn those two things, they will have to submit 4 items. And that is verification for the cybersecurity training, the SMP training. There is an action plan, which is more of an essay of how you are applying what you learned in this module and the whole course into your teaching. And there is a final exam. And once they upload everything, then this section will be reviewed by us in operations. It's probably going to be me. So the programs do not have to do anything. We will handle this part, sending out the certificate, the stipend. So it's all handled by us. That was the quick overview. And I want to throw it out there for questions.
Marta, it's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
Do you have any estimates yet as to how long these modules should take, as far as to let the adjunct know to plan their time?
That is an excellent question. I'm not sure if Jack or Tim or even Don have any estimates, but also the plan is for it to be a resource, for something to return to. So yes, they have to get through it, but then return to it.
Yeah. So Charlie, great question. This is Jack. The quick start, which was this shorter version of all of this, we figured might take a couple hours. I think this course, anecdotally, we've had one person say that it's taken them several hours. It does not all have to be done in one sitting. It can be, they can come in here and come back to it. But I think a good few hours, perhaps. maybe maybe 3 hours. That's a little bit of a rough number. It depends a little bit on how quickly someone might want to read through some of this, how familiar the material is. Um, so it's not meant to be really a long process, but I could see it taking, a few hours. And everybody's, mileage may vary a little bit. I think the little essay that we ask them to do, um, that's 1 to 2 pages. We give them some prompts, and we refer them to particular modules where they might find some of that information that we're asking them to respond to, at a practical level. So I don't know if that helps. I think once we have some feedback from some people who have gone through it, then we can probably share that a little bit more to say, between 2 and 5 or 5 and 7 hours over time, if that helps.
It does. I think the content looks very impressive, very elaborate to give people the answers that they would be looking for. So yeah, that's why I asked the question, so I
Yeah,
can tell the adjunct, well, Susie, if you're going to skim through it, that's one thing, but we'd really rather you read through it and watch the videos and absorb the material. As you're saying, you could always go back. Oh, what was module 2? I needed to go back and look at that.
exactly.
But to look through it, I think it's important for them to absorb because there's so much good content that I can see.
Right. And yeah, and let me say too, at the bottom of most modules, there may be anywhere from 1 to 4 or 5 knowledge checks. The knowledge checks are all optional. They can take those as many times as they wish. They're multiple choice or multi-select. I think it's module 2 on some of the CCBC values and the institutional profile. We ask them to just reflect a little bit, like how would you use some of your knowledge of the student demographics in your classroom to maybe teach with a little bit more awareness, or maybe adapting your content even to appeal to a broader audience in some ways. So yeah, it's different parts of this are going to take a little bit longer for some and less for others. So we would want to offer a range for what they might expect. So.
And we received a question from Helen in the chat. It says, our instructors do not use Brightspace, tests or grades. Can this be skipped?
So I think if someone is not teaching in Brightspace, then I would still highly encourage them to take this course, because this is not all about using Brightspace. If they're not teaching in Brightspace, then they wouldn't be taking the Brightspace Basics course, which CCBC Online delivers. We believe that there's still a lot of really good information in here that serves our adjuncts regardless of the modality that they're teaching in, whether it's face-to-face or online. We're trying to be broad in that regard. So someone may not spend as much time on the areas, the pages that reference teaching in Brightspace, but I think there's a lot in there still on good classroom engagement, on how to teach with adult learners, and still, again, the application piece of how are you going to use some of this information to be more effective, and connecting with your students, whether that's in a classroom or Zoom, regardless of your program area. I hope that helps. If not, please, come back with another question.
Yeah, we actually have another question. How will a new adjunct know about the training? How is the information disseminated? Um, and I can kind of help answer that too. We're going to include it in our newsletters. We'll be sending out the information. It's been shared with the program areas. We've printed flyers. You know, we're trying to get this information out in every way we can. Do you have anything you want to add, Jack or Marta?
I do not. It looked like, Helen, that you still had a question. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Can anybody hear Helen?
I'm not hearing anyone.
Helen, would you mind dropping it in the chat? Can Helen
I'm sorry, well, while Helene is typing her question, I'll just follow up. So we have shared this, well, we will be distributing to the program area staff, coordinators, directors, all of our partners there, some information, it's a one-page, some instructions on how to register for this in QuickReg. We have a particular professional development catalog just for this course, and then how they can access it in Brightspace. So there will be that. We'll also be working as appropriate with the adjunct faculty centers to get some of this information there. And we've mentioned it in our newsletter, and we'll continue to do that also. We are also looking at providing some information and some welcome packets for new faculty where we can provide, a handout on the course as well.
Some of the other question is, do new adjuncts get a welcome email from EdFac with their ID number? If so, can this information link be included in that initial email?
Great question, Moira. I think we're working out a little bit where some of the communication can be improved between adjunct faculty, coordinator, and the work that the contracts does, and then working with the program areas so that we have, so that we know that, I was just talking with a coordinator today, she was sending out an email with ID numbers and how to access particular training and some of the email addresses that would be relevant. So I think we want to come alongside and make sure that, across our programs, across our departments, that we're providing good, consistent information and that faculty members aren't getting lost in the cracks, as it were.
I see, Bree, you have your hand up. Do you want to ask your question? Or
yes, hi, thank you. This is fabulous. I appreciate you all developing this resource. I think it's something that our adjuncts have difficulty with when they are in their onboarding process. But how can we make this more program specific? Are you able to share this information that we could roll into like our own course that we want to develop? I have like content specific things that I want my adjuncts to know as well.
So Bree, that's a great question. I'm trying to think how we would, I get returning to providing a general resource, but maybe we can have some conversations around how we can support you with some of your more specific information so that, again, we have a good, I don't know, that we're complementing you with that. But we could talk about if there would be, additional modules, or, this is standalone course right now. So I think we would want to have that conversation around what would be appropriate and then most effective for you being able to share your specific information and resources with your faculty. So we can follow up on that if you would like.
Yes, or if we could roll it over, like I know, we use institutional shells in Brightspace and we roll over the information alive, but if we wouldn't have access to this, I didn't know if we could just go into the CRN and be like, oh, roll the course over to this, and then now I can modify this new course for my specific purpose.
Yeah, let's talk further about how we might do that, or again, how we partner on that. If there's a certain amount of sharing of modules, I think once we get into institutional shells and different sections of it, I think we just want to be careful about what information is out there and then how it's being updated and who's responsible for that. So let's talk about that as we go forward.
Audrey has a question. Did you want to?
Hello. Yes, thank you for developing this. It's wonderful. I was wondering if it's only for brand new adjuncts, or like if we have adjuncts that started in the fall, can they go back and take it? And can other like faculty, like we have a new instructional specialist, could they take this course?
So any CE adjunct can take this, and they're welcome to do that. I think where the instructional specialist is concerned, they could take this course, or we do have a staff section, a CE staff section of this. It's a different CRN. They could also take that one. The content is all the same. Staff don't receive the $75 stipend. And we don't ask staff to complete the final assignment, the action plan. So I think, you can determine which section might be more appropriate for your instructional specialist, but we do have both sections available, if that helps, Audrey.
Yes, thank you.
But again, as Marta was saying, we do encourage staff to take the staff section so that they have something of an experience of what the faculty will be doing as well.
There was also a comment that our instructors may teach only 1.5 hours per week for 4 to 10 weeks. Is this the concern about the length of the training module?
I think it's probably about at what level of an instructor is this available to. So I think it's probably open to everyone, even if they only teach a 2-hour class. Or has there been a minimum hour someone has to teach? Is that right, Helene? Something like that? We'll just assume it's that. So
Okay.
let's assume, is there a minimum number that someone has to teach in order to qualify for the $75 as well as to take the class?
I would say no. I will let Don otherwise speak to that, but again, in our mind, this is for all CE adjuncts. But yeah.
I would think so, but go ahead, Don.
It is. I mean, just because an instructor teaches one course, for 4.5 hours doesn't mean that they won't be teaching that same course 4 or 5 times over the next 4 years. So yeah, it counts. And whether you're teaching 1 hour or you're teaching 180 hours for that matter, FERPA's FERPA and the sexual prevention and all that, that's still all required. So I would encourage them, to take it no matter how many hours they're teaching, because you don't really know in the end how many hours they will cumulatively teach to begin with.
Yeah, and that goes exactly to the point that, again, the information is general and much of it is rather evergreen. I mean, it's campus resources or campus resources. Adult pedagogy is adult pedagogy. So that's all consistent. Seeing another question here. The training is available in Quick Reg with a caveat that if an adjunct is logged in already, if they go to the regular Quick Reg, they will not see this course because it's part of a particular professional development catalog. And so we have in the material announcing this, we have a QR code and some instructions that will tell them how to get specifically to that catalog. But it is available in Quick Reg, both sections for staff and for faculty. Charlie, is the stipend generated automatically after completion using the adjuncts account information, or is there any kind of manual intervention that is needed? There is manual work that is done. MARTA will be working with contracts to convey that information to make sure that that the stipend gets recorded, and then that goes over to payroll for payment. And then, does that answer your question, Charlie? Is there anything more that you want to know about payment?
No, I think that's okay. But you mentioned there's two different CRNs, one for staff, one for adjunct.
That's correct. So yeah, so the the faculty have to take the faculty section, and then we will work our processes here to verify the completion and to then sign off on their receiving the stipend.
So is the content just the same? It's just the division, if you will, the stipend versus not stipend. Everything else is the same.
The content is all the same, no stipend, and again, no action plan that staff need to complete. If they want to, no problem. We don't have it visible to them right now because we didn't want that to confuse anyone. So
Thank you.
Jack,
All
is
right.
it okay if I drop the link here so everybody can just take a look?
Sure, for the link for
the two different section.
Yeah, so Nikki, we can get the CRN for the staff one to you. Okay, and then Marcia, does this replace the sexual misconduct prevention and cybersecurity training? No, they still, faculty and staff still need to register for and take those trainings. All we're asking them to do here to encourage their completion of this course is that they share their verification that they've completed those two things. And we give instructions on how to get that verification and to upload a record of it. So. And Marta has put in the chat the Quick Reg register link, which just make sure that that's working. Yes. So if you click on that link, it will take you to this special professional development catalog, and you'll see the two sections there for the course. Alright.
In all the materials that are going out, this specific link is included, or a QR code. So anything that's going out will have this specific link.
And we have had a few people who have had a little bit of difficulty getting to the right catalog, but it does work. And if anybody has difficulty, then we will help them. Error has occurred. Let's see.
What we have found is if you're already logged in or has been logged in recently, then you might need to log out or use a different browser to use this link.
Yeah, actually, Audrey, since you're already in the course, it's not going to let you register again.
Oh, okay. I was trying to register to do the staff one because I'm a new employee and I've never done this, so I was trying to put myself in the staff to sit through the staff one. Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
see.
actually,
Got it.
I think I think when I look at the class list, you are currently in the staff one as well as the faculty one, so you should have access. So for the staff one, you want the I will here. I'm just share my screen quickly so you can see what this looks like. So can everyone see the quick reg?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the link that Marta shared. And here's the CRN 32618. That's the staff section. The title is slightly different to make a distinction there. And then 32617 is the faculty section. So those are the distinctions there. So, and then Nikki, once you register, how do you access it? You then, you will simply be able to go into Brightspace and it should appear in your list of courses. But if you have login difficulties, then you can contact us and we can see what support we can provide, or it may be a matter otherwise of going to the help desk and making sure that everything is correct. Are there other questions, comments? We have a few
Jack,
minutes
it's
left.
Charlie.
Yeah.
We don't use Brightspace, so where would mine show up? If once I registered. Your follow-up to what you were talking to Nikki about.
Sure. So anyone who has if you've registered for the course using QuickReg, that creates a professional development record for you or profile for you. So you should be able to go to Brightspace and see the course there. I think you can, I think otherwise, if you go to My CCBC and log in there, you should then have courses that show up there as well. And that's probably the avenue that I would encourage. Don, do you have?
Well, I was just going to say, let me share my screen real quick. If you're at the website, you just go to My CCBC and you log in. I already logged in, so it should come right up. And then right here where like you would go to Simon to do your time card or something like that, there's a link right there for Brightspace. And you click on that and your class should appear under My Courses.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Don.
If your class doesn't automatically show the 9 little squares at the top on the toolbar, if you click that, then it'll show. Mine doesn't automatically show. I always have to do it that way. I don't know if that's just me, but just in case somebody else has that.
Right, and depending on the number of courses one has, if they may either show up on your home screen there, or you can click, as Audrey was saying, on what we call the waffle. You can also then pin courses so that they show up more readily there, and maybe helps you to filter things out. So, let's see. All right, Evelyn, let's see. Okay. So Nikki has just provided 32618 is the CRN for staff and 32617 for faculty. Evelyn, the sheets that we will be sending to you, that Marta will be sending to you, will have the course information for each section, as well as the instructions on how to access them.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, comments? How can we help you?
I would just mention that the sheets that you're sending out, those are the handouts that you created for the adjuncts. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what we've done is we've created handouts that you can use for yourself, but they're designed for you to give to adjuncts as a resource to help them access. There's directions on how to access it, and there's there you go. Vanna Marta is showing them. There's one on just explaining what it is, and then there's one on how to access it that you can use as a resource with your adjuncts.
And if you have other ideas or needs for how to share all of this with your adjuncts or others within your program areas, please contact Marta, and we will coordinate with you on how to disseminate this further. So, Marta, maybe you can drop your email address into the chat for anybody, just so they have that.
I also wanted to add real quick. This recording will be edited and added to our adjunct YouTube channel, and which I'm going to drop the, I don't know, we have a nice group here today, so I'd like to share this too. You can direct your adjuncts to this too. It's growing all the time. It's got some videos in there we made, the webinars we made in the past. I think there's some really good, useful information there. So I want to add this into the chat for you to have.
And I just want to take a moment and thank everyone for being here, but I also really want to excuse me, thank Don for his leadership in encouraging and helping to develop all of this. He had a huge hand to play in the content and the media, and really trying to direct it. And then Tim has been, invaluable in a lot of the work in the classroom. And Marta just arrived on our team, but she's jumped in and was, just given the assignment of helping to lead this today. And so I just want to say thank you. And again, and thank you to everyone here in the program areas for all of your contributions and being part of the conversation to develop the content as well. If you have other ideas about it, please channel those back to Marta, and we will look at things that we can include in future iterations of this. So thanks. I'll turn it back to Marta and Tim for anything else. So.
I will stay on in case anybody has any other questions, but you know how to reach me.
I just want to say thank you for attending, and I was really happy to see at one point, I think we had 37 or 38 people here, so that I really appreciate your dedication to giving up your time to come here and spend some time with us, and great questions too.